Alright, we're going to start things off by taking a look at the 7x14 horizontal bandsaw. As you can see, it has a nice coat of Central Machinery green, which means it comes from horrible freight, but in this case it's not so horrible. I've been nothing but satisfied with this machine. It's been a very good working machine, cuts very nice and works very well. It's a solid saw. The first thing I did when I got this machine was I took the flood coolant system out. It had down underneath, it had the flood coolant reservoir, pump, and all the hose and the nozzle and everything. I took that out for the type of sawing that I do and the amount of sawing I do. I don't see any need in it. We have the same machine where I work, except from a different importer, and they use the flood coolant system there, and it's just a mess. It makes a mess. It corrodes the machine and it gets clogged up, and it's just way harder to clean. With this, if I get chips collecting down in the pan, I can just brush them into a dustpan and then blow it off, and it's just like brand new again. So the cleanup is way better, way easier without that flood coolant system going on. Another thing that I did that made a huge difference on this was I installed casters on the front. Just took some 3-inch angle iron and just mounted some casters. Before it had just adjustable feet down here, so if you wanted to move it, I had to grab it by the handle and lift it up on its back wheels and move it wherever I needed it to. But and this thing isn't exactly light, so this makes it a lot easier. I can just swing it around, and it just makes this machine a lot better. I would definitely recommend that as your first mod on one of these things. But just a quick look at the shop saw, and again, would I recommend this? Absolutely. Would I buy it again? I certainly would. I'm going to do a little walk around of the 3-ton Arbor press before the new owner comes and takes possession of it. It's an import model, weighs about 100 pounds, nothing really special about it. I took it apart. This has been over a year ago. I took it apart, cleaned it all out, put a paint job on it. But the main thing I did was I did this tooth removal mod right here, where you either grind off. In this case, I milled these bottom 3 teeth off. And the purpose for that mod is if you're pressing on a part of some sort, and your handle is like in an up and down position, you don't have very good leverage. You'd rather your handle be, somewhere around here, so you can pull down on it. Well, what this mod allows you to do, it allows you to back the ram all the way out, and you can reposition the pinion by just letting your gears skip. And then you can bring it down into a better position that'll give you better leverage. So I'm letting this piece go. I don't use it enough to justify the space that I give it, and I have another hydraulic press over there that I can do anything that this one will do. So before the day's out, this should be in its new home. I'm pressing this pin into a shaft, to the pinion shaft that goes in the Atlas shaper, and I've got the air hooked up to the foot switch. I'll just show you how easy it is to use, how easy the press is to use with this foot switch. It just makes it so much, it frees up both your hands, and just gives you a little more control. Well, I had a nice little tool score. Got a collection of taps. Before I had, or before this, I had small taps up to 1 inch, and I'd been thinking that I'd like to kind of like round out my collection with some bigger taps. And this showed up on Facebook Marketplace, and turned out to be a guy not very far from here. Had a real nice shop. And he had bought a large lot of taps, and these were some of the duplicates that he had, and that he didn't need. So I got a pretty good deal on them. So I want to get these cleaned up a little bit, and they're real nice ones too. They go. I got down from 1 inch, so I got 1 inch. All the sizes from 1 inch to 2 inch, and this is one of the 2 inch ones. And in bonus, I got a big old pipe tap. What is that? That is a, I can't tell. It's on there, but I can't read it. But anyways, so I think I can fit these into the toolbox over here. So I'm going to get these cleaned up a little bit and get them put away. I have a number of chucks for the Craftsman 6-inch lathe, but I also have a set of collets. And these are Morse taper number 2 collets. And they fit into the headstock with a drawbar. Like that. And as you tighten the drawbar on the other side, it clamps down on your part. And it's a very accurate way to hold work in a lathe. So I wanted to set the Grizzly lathe up with a collet setup, and I'll take you over there and show you what I went with. So I ended up going with the 5C collet system, and this is the 5C collet I just got, and kind of reminds me of a 3-jaw scroll chuck a little bit. This has the 3 pinion screws. I think some of them only have 1, but as you turn these pinion screws, there's a little rotating, you can see it in there, a little rotating set of threads or a nut that engages the mating threads on the collet. This has a D14 cam lock system. It fits my lathe. And here's the 5C collet, and I'll show you. The one on the left here is an R8 collet that I use over on the milling machine. You can see the difference for comparison. The R8 has a set of threads on the inside, but this 5C has threads on the outside and the inside. And the ones on the outside are for engaging the threads in the nut. And the ones on the inside, I don't have a set, but as far as I know, they're for a stop setup where you would screw like a round nut in there with a hole in the center with a rod that goes through, and it can stop at a certain point, whatever you want, and the part will come in there and make a stop on the stop. So you can take the part out, put it back in, and it'll be in the same place. So it just goes in like this. There's a pin in here. I know a lot of you guys have seen this before, but there's a slot just like on a R8, and it just goes in there and engages, and you turn the pinion screw, and it'll engage the collet, and it'll start pulling the collet in, and the collet will squeeze around the part. I just got this chuck not very long ago, about a couple weeks ago, but I've had these collets for some time now because I have other uses for these collets that I've been using them on. So I'll take you over and show you some of the other things I do with these collets. All right, I have a set of 5C collet blocks, and the collet fits in to the block just like this. Tightens on the back side and draws the part in. And what it allows you to do, it allows you to transfer this shape or any combination of these angles onto a part, and used mainly for milling operations. You would set it into a vise, mill your top part, and then you can take it out, put it back in. Allows you to mill the second, and it's just an easy setup, very handy to use. Also have a octagon shape, so you can see you can transfer this onto any part, such as a bolt head or whatever combination of these that you needed. Also comes with a instead of the nut, it'll have a quick release mechanism where you can loosen and tighten your collet just by moving this handle, and quickly remove and reinstall parts into your chuck. Alright, last but not least, we have the 5C Spindexer, which is an indexing device. Your collet goes in here, tightens, and what this allows you to do, it allows you to turn your part at any combination of any of these indexing holes. So with this, you'd be making gears, splines, all kinds of whatever you can come up with, all different kinds of things you can do with this mechanism. So hopefully some of these cool gadgets will be making appearances in upcoming videos. But I'm gonna leave it right there for now. And so until next time, thanks for watching.